Hi there everybody and welcome. It's Jackie here from stampingjack.com. It is Wednesday the 2nd of December and it's Facebook Live time. Can you believe it's December already? I don't know. Where has the year gone? It's certainly been a hell of a year. But yes, I've got some great projects lined up for you this evening. So as you jump on, just leave me a comment below to say hi. And I'm just going to check and make sure that I'm in the right place. Just bear with me a moment. Make sure that I'm all set. Let's have a look. So how is everybody? I think we're okay. Yeah, there we are. Excellent. See if I can see. Hi Lynn, welcome. I think you're the first one in. Hello. Hope you're all well. I don't know about the UK, but the weather's certainly taken a turn here on the island in the last few days. It's gotten that lovely, fresh, sharp, bright, crisp weather. We've had some really sunny days, just that really invigorating, crisp weather. Hi Sophia, welcome. And we've had some beautiful evenings. Hi Kat. So we've had full moon this week and of course clear skies. There's been some gorgeous, gorgeous views. Unfortunately, my camera just won't capture that sort of stuff. So I see you're all coming online, so that's great. Good to see you all. Ooh, a heart already. Yay! So welcome. What have I got for you tonight? Well, I've got some cool projects for you as usual. Hi Doreen. So last week, the last few weeks I've been having a lot of fun taking inspiration from you guys in terms of the card swaps that we've been doing. So last week, Sophia, as you know, we took Sophia's card and did a few bits and pieces, made some slimline cards. This is the first time I've made these and I was really quite pleased with these. So we've also received some more cards. I don't know if I've shown them to you, but I think I showed Mary's one and then I don't think I've shown Lynn's one because that's arrived. So thank you very much for this, Lynn. I love this. This is a card base from one of our kits and the Just a Note, I think that's what it's called anyway, stamp set, which I really, really liked. It was in our catalogue and retired and I was really sad to see it go. I just think it's a really simple layout. It's gorgeous, so thank you very much. And tonight's cards, we've got a bit of a mixed bag, but I've taken inspiration from a number of different cards that I've received, so hopefully we'll have a bit of fun with those. So thank you for sharing, Doreen. That's a reminder to the rest of you, if you wouldn't mind sharing this video, that would be great. Thank you very much. What else have I got to tell you? Yes, so card swap, as you can see over these last few weeks, we've been having some great fun taking inspiration from your cards. I've been loving seeing all the cards being posted in the VIP group. There's certainly been lots of great ideas in there, so it's been really fun. So we're going to do another one for December. I've got a pinned post here and in the VIP group, so you have until Friday to sign up to join in the swap for this month, and unsurprisingly the theme will be Christmas. So yes, you have until Friday. Sign up in the pinned post, and I will add you to we create a special group each week, so I'll add you to the group and we'll get it going. So I'm looking forward to all of your ideas and inspiration next time round. Hi Diane, welcome. And the other big news for me is that something very special arrived in the post for me, which is this. I know. We haven't even got to Christmas yet, but obviously we're always a little bit ahead. So this is the new catalogue that will be coming out, Stampin' Up! Catalogue that will be coming out on the 5th of January. Now, I can't show you the inside of it just yet, but I will be sending out copies of these probably after Christmas. And I will, of course, during January be having a catalogue launch party like I normally do. But you can see we've got some great new stuff here. We've got some gold leaf, we've got some gorgeous patterned paper, some beautiful stamp set, that's all just part of one suite. And of course, with spring comes celebration. Yes, Cat. Ooh, I've been having lots of fun with this. So celebration this year, it's going to change a little bit. So normally celebration runs for 3 months from January through to March. But this year we're going to have 2 celebrations. So it's going to run for January and February this year. And then it'll run again when we bring out the new catalogue in June. So again, you can see some lovely stuff here. Some cool stamp sets and papers. Yeah, so these are all free with every £45 purchase. So we're going to have a lot of fun with this. Yes, Diane, I put in my order yesterday. So as demonstrators, we get to order our stuff ahead of time. So I put in my order today. And I'm really looking forward. That should be something that will keep me busy over the Christmas period, because when hopefully I'll be moving house in January. But the big news is that Rupert, my son, and Kevin, my husband, are coming to the island and are coming on the 13th of December. Yay! So it's all been confirmed. They've got their permit. The flight's been booked. So 13th of December they're arriving. But because of the rules here, we have to self-isolate together for 2 weeks. So that should be fun. I haven't seen them since September, so I'm really looking forward to seeing them. But I think 2 weeks of just the 3 of us in the flat should be interesting. Let's just put it that way. So I shall have my new goodies and I shall take the time to play with them. Yes, I'm absolutely thrilled. So they're coming on the 13th and they're staying till about the middle of January, till after the house is all done. So you'll have a whole month together. So 2 weeks of that will be inside, but we are allowed to go out for 1 hour each day and the beach is right outside the door. So we're going to have some fun there. And then hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll be into our new home, can do all the unpacking. So by the time they go back, I should be all settled in and in my new home. Yay! So lots of exciting stuff happening. And obviously throughout that, I will do my best to come on live whenever I can. Because, you know, the highlight of my week is actually crafting and chatting with you guys. It's a lot of fun. So with that, let's get on and do some cards, shall we? Hi, Mary, welcome. Right, so the first card that I'm going to make is, I showed you this card last week, which was from Sophia. And there was lots of bits on here that I really, really liked and inspired me. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a Christmas themed card. Okay, so we're going to use the Peace and Joy stamp set. And coordinating dies, which are in here, so we're going to do that. So what I've got is, I have got my pieces here. Right, so I've got a real red card base, and then I have a shaded spruce piece, and then I have a whisper white piece. Okay, now what did I say, Sue? Did I say Sophia? I meant to say Sue. My apologies. Sophia sent me the slimline one that we did last week. So what Sue has done on here, which is one of my favourite things to do, and I haven't actually done in a long time, is she's created her own background here with it, created her own DSP by stamping. So I'm going to do that tonight. And then I love this layout of a strip across the middle and a square to the right. So I've cut myself. Now here's my deliberate mistake, all right, when I cut my strip, I measured it wrong, so I've got 2 pieces, but hopefully once I glue them together, you'll never know, all right? Okay, and then I've die cut a scalloped square, also from shaded spruce, and a smaller layering square from white. So the first thing we're going to do is create the background. Okay, so we'll put these pieces to one side for the moment. Bring in some scrap paper. So we're going to need some shaded spruce and some real red. And we're going to do some holly. So we've got some holly leaves and berries. So let's just adjust this camera so that you can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. You can't be red and green for Christmas, can you, Sue? You just can't. Now, I have to say, I am a fan of blues at Christmas time. You will know that. I love cherry cobbler and navy. I love sort of light blues. I've been doing a lot of blue this year, actually. But yeah, you just can't go wrong with traditional green and red. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ink up my holly leaves. Get them inked up nicely. I think I need to re-ink my shaded spruce ink pad. Okay, so I'm just stamping these randomly. I'm making sure to leave space between them for my berries. Okay. Now that was a bit of a mistake there, but let's see how we go. Having said I've left space. Blue is the Pantone colour of 2020. Is that right, Sophia? What kind of blue? Do you know what? I don't like this. I'm going to start again. I'm going to concentrate this time. There we go. And I'm going to spread them out a little bit more than I had before. I don't want it to be too busy. Okay. The stamping this evening is not warmed up yet, but we'll get there. Okay. I wonder if I've got a little lump on my desk or something. Anyway, a lot of this is going to get covered up. So then we'll just add our berries. These are so cute. Restamping is not too difficult when you've got a photopolymer set, Sue, because you can kind of line it up and see where you are. Can't do it with a red rubber stamp. There we go. Cute. Alrighty, so let's just move our ink pads out of the way for the moment and let's assemble our pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this, look at that. Just make a piece of cardstock just with that. Now what I'm going to do actually, before I stick it all together, I'm just going to line this up, make sure that I haven't got any odd little gaps. So it's going to go on here like this. And looking at that, I think we need a pop of red down here. I'm going to put some here. And I think I want to put a little bit up here. And one here. And a little bit here. There we go. That looks a bit better. All right, so now we come to my mistake where I cut my piece too short. So what I'm going to do is, using my wet glue, is I'm going to, whoops, Sky at Dusk, Cat. That sounds like that might be Misty Moonlight in Stampin' Up! Colours, doesn't it? That one. Cat, you're like our very own fact checker. You're great. It's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now we all know. I wonder what it's going to be for 2021. So Pantone is like a sort of a universal way of referencing colours. It's like a code. Okay, so now I'm just going to line up my paper here. Now again, this doesn't matter a great deal because my piece is going to go over, and in fact it has to go this way. No, it is this way. Just trying to line up my pieces. That's what happens when you don't pay attention whilst you're cutting. Yep, absolutely right, Kat. God, I love some Misty Moonlight. Can't beat it. Right, and then I'm just going to trim off the excess. Okay. So then that can go onto our piece. Now, this isn't quite straight. There we go. All right, so then I'm going to glue this on just across, that way, across the center. And I've just gotten glue all over my hand. So 1 second. Wet wipe time. I think it's going to be a messy night, ladies. You know, sometimes when, you know, you just can't get it right. I think it's going to be one of those nights. So bear with me, okay? Hopefully once I get this one card out of the way, it'll all fall into place. Okay. So now we can add our layers. So I'm just going to glue this bit. On. So this is Shaded Spruce and then Real Red. So it's the same colours that are in that I've stamped in. Okay. Alrighty. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to, so see our piece goes there and magically covers up my little join. So that's almost like I planned it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp Joy and I'm going to cut it out using the die. So I have a decision that I need to make. I'm going to heat emboss it in white, but I don't know whether to heat emboss it onto the red or the green. So while I get everything ready and set up, let me know. Should I heat emboss in white on the red or the green? So it's what I'm going to do is the Joy is going to sit across here. Okay, so let me know what you guys think while I get my stamp and my heat embossing and everything ready. Red, Sue. Okay, 1 vote for red. So I've got my first mark. All right, got my heat tool. Red. Yeah, do you know what? Looking at it here, I think you're right. I think red. But let's do it and let's see. Yeah, I think you guys are in agreement. Red, 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 red. All right. Red it is. Don't need that. Get rid of it. So, just use our embossing buddy to get rid of any static. Move that out of the way. All right. And then we'll ink up with our Versamark. Give it a good inking. Okay. Stamp that on there. Yeah, that looks good. And then we'll grab our scrap here. And we'll add our white embossing powder to this. A bit more, I think. Yep, that looks good. And then we'll just pop that. Yeah, it's unanimous. That's unusual for you ladies. Unanimous vote for red, so I think we're on the right track. Okay, so let me just warm up my heat tool. As I said before, when you're heat embossing, it works a lot better if you just let your heat tool warm up first before you bring it to your card. Okay? Alright. Okay, so now I don't know what's happened to my setup here, but I can't show you. My heat tool doesn't reach anymore. I don't know what, if I moved my table or what's going on. So I'm just doing this now. There we go. Okay. So that's that. And then what we do is we take our die and we just line it up like so. Can you see that? And I'm just going to quickly cut this out, so I'll be right back. I'm also going to try and make sure that I don't move my die. There we go. Alright, so then we pop it out and look what we get. Isn't that just, I love it. I love it. Super, super, super. I love these dies that have got the shadow with them as well. It's fantastic. Okay, so let's bring this back. So we're going to put Joy. Oh yeah. That looks good. And then I'm going to say to the world, and I'm going to stamp that in red. So to the world, I'm just going to get a scrap of white. There we go. Let's just ink that up. Okay. Stamp this down. I love this stamp and die set. I think it's just fantastic. Been having a lot of fun with it. Now, I'm just going to give that 1 second because real red is one of those colours that has a tendency to go everywhere. So I'm just going to give it 1 second. Set. Normally our inks dry pretty quickly, but I don't want to take any chances. So, and then I'm just going to trim it off. And again, with these sentiments, they're just so easy to trim. Yes, Anne, exactly. Same card layout, but completely different. That's the beauty of this sort of stuff. So Sue, this is the Peace and Joy stamp set. So yeah, Sue's card is absolutely gorgeous, beautiful, soft florals, but then like that, just use this stuff and you get a completely different look. So I'm using my mini dimensionals here. And that's, as I say, that's apart from just the fun of receiving Happy Mail, that's one of my favourite things about this card swap is just, you know, you guys have basically provided me with inspiration for the whole month for cards. It's been great. It's been fantastic. And I hope that it's provided you guys with a little bit of inspiration and ideas in terms of your cards. And hopefully it's helped you to sort of deconstruct cards that you see, whether it's on Pinterest or here or anywhere, and then just you know, as I say, deconstruct it, find the elements that you like, and then make it your own, rather than just copying it exactly. Because you know, you can't always, because you don't always have the colours or the stamp set or the paper or whatever, but you can take the techniques and apply them. Okay. Payback for all my inspiration. Oh, Anne, you're so kind. Thank you. Well, I like to think that we inspire each other. go. So I'll pop that on there, and I think this needs a little bit of Wink of Stella, but first I'm just going to do the inside. So I'm going to, now that I've closed up my ink pads, I'm going to open them back up again, and I'm just going to do a little bit in the corners. Yes, it is. And I am so looking forward to what everybody produces for our next swap. Hi, Emma. Welcome. We're on our first card, so we're okay. Right. So, Wink of Stella. I bet you guys were waiting. I'm saying, when is she going to add some? So let's add some to our berries. Can you see that? There we go. And then we'll just add a little bit here. I love the fact that this holly die, they've done it, or this holly stamp, they've done it in two different stamps, because a lot of times you'll get a holly stamp and it's all one. And of course, you know, the leaves are green and the berries are red, so it makes it tricky. But this way, you can just do it perfectly. Okay, let's try and get that straight. There we go. It's just so easy. I don't normally do the inserts, but when I have a dark card base, I like to do one. But again, it's just easy. All you need to do is take one of the images from the front and just stick it in the corner, and that's it. You're done. Doesn't need an enormous amount. So there we go. Let's bring back in Sue's original. And then my version. So you can see we've got the same layout. Yeah, we've got the stamped background. And we've got the strip of pattern paper across the middle. So this is just a great layout anyway. So it's definitely worth making a note of and using again. Because, you know, you could swap this. It doesn't have to be a square. It could be a circle, could be an oval, could be a heart, could be anything. So there you go. Thank you very much, Sue, for the inspiration. So that's card number 1. Let's just move this stuff out of the way. Make some room. All right, so for our next card is inspired by Diane's card, which she sent through. Now, I love this stamp set, and I was inspired by Diane's cards to go and play with it, and then realised that I haven't packed it, so I haven't got it. But I'm going to make this into a Christmas card too. So what I like here is I like the layout again, which is that lovely rectangle in the middle, and I also like the 2 layers of designer series paper on here. So that's the 2 elements that I'm going to use for this card. So I'm going to start with a shaded spruce. So I'm going to stick with the same sort of colour. So we've got a shaded spruce piece, and then we've got this is, oh, I do like purple. I just never quite get round to using it. I always seem to end up going for blue instead, or red. I don't know. It's not that I don't like it. Right, so I've got, this is from the Warm Tidings paper, and you can see it's the same paper that I've used on here. And what I've done is I'm actually layering it up on a piece of white. So I don't normally use white as a layer, but I thought that it really just helped make the card, make the paper pop. Okay, and then I did have, I know what I'm going to do. I had originally planned to use another piece of patterned paper, but then I changed my mind and decided that I would use some ribbon instead. So again, what we've got is just this strip across the top here. So again, you just take the different elements and apply them as you see fit. And then I have die cut a stitched scalloped rectangle like Diana's done. And then I'm going to use the Don't Stop Believin' stamp set. I love this. This is just I love the sentiments and the images on here. So I'm going to take this cute little elf and I'm going to stamp him using my Memento ink because I'm going to colour him in using my blends. Purple and blue is a gorgeous colour combination, Sue. Absolutely. And especially for Christmas cards, I think it looks really gorgeous. And so if we take, where's Mary's card? So this paper here that Mary's used, that's got the purples and the blues and they work really, really well together. Right, so let's ink up our little elf. Let's stamp him here. There we go. How cute is he? All right, so now we're going to keep to our, so I've got shaded spruce and real red, and I'm going to use some yellow. So I'm going to use my Mango Melody, I think these are, yeah. I'm going to use some Pool Party. That's Balmy Blue. Pool Party, and then I'm just going to use some black, so I'm going to sit down for this bit. Stinking cute is the word, so he's just, I love him. Now the other thing I'm going to do is, for his skin, I'm going to use the light petal pink, okay, and because this is quite a detailed image, I'm going to use the bullet tip, okay, so I'm just going to colour his legs. Now, question is, should his hat be red or green? What do you think, guys? Colour his hands. Okay, I'll do his face in a minute. Let's do the ears. There we go. And then I'm going to take my basic black, and again, using the fine tip, I'm just going to carefully do the wire. So what have we got? Red, green, jolly red. You guys are divided on this one. Red, red, oh. Well, I'm going to do him red and green. So if he's got a red hat, then I will do him red shoes and a green middle bit. I'm actually going to try and be careful. Try with the cord. Here we go. Red, red, red. Okay, red hat it is. So let's take our red shoes, no. Is that K something 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 RS what I think it is, Sue? Is it a certain type of undergarment? Right, so I'm starting with my dark. I'm just adding it here. And then I'm going to blend it out using my light. Or are they kickers? I promise I won't leave him without undergarments. Okay, I'm going to make this a little bit darker. There we go. Black shoes. I think we're sharing a bit of personal information here, are we? Oh, this is not a difficult image to colour because the areas are quite small. You don't really need to do a lot of shading. You can see I'm not actually bothering too much. But the tricky bit is just figuring out what is where. You've got a couple of different lines, so you just got to sort of follow it through a little bit. So I am going to concentrate for a moment and make sure that I get it right. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to give him a green top. So again, I'm using shaded spruce. So not bothering too much with shading. As I say, the areas aren't really big enough. The key here is to just, that's why I wanted to colour the cord in first, because it helps me then. If I go outside the lines a little bit, not as obvious. Okay. So that's the jersey. And then I'm going to give him some orange trousers so he can tell the difference. Okay, so this is where it gets tricky. I have to make sure not to forget the backside. Here we are. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to colour the lights in. Yes, I do love the blends, and Anne, I agree with you. I wasn't really, I'm no expert at colouring, never was. It's not my favourite thing to do, but I do like these. The blends do make it easy. And you'll notice that, you know, I choose images where I don't really need to worry too much about the blending. Just standard colouring in. Okay, and I'm going to give her some brown hair. And here. There we go. And I think, how about some rosy cheeks? I think the petal pink is a little bit too light, so what I'm going to use is my, let's see if this works. This is my light flirty flamingo. So it's just, oh yeah, that's a bit better. I'm just going to add a little bit to the ears. There we go. Okay, so there we go. That's our cute little elf. So I'm just going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella to the lights. There we go. Oh, and finally, we need some Pool Party to ground our elf so he's not just floating in thin air. He's actually sitting on something. So it's a very small, no, and I don't have them all, but I do have most of them. So it's a very slight touch, but it does make them, it does make all the difference in terms of just adding that finishing touch to your images. Okay, so that's that. Oh, he's cute. I like him. So now I'm going to start the sentiment, and I think but the sentiment's actually my favourite bit. It says, "Don't get your tinsel in a tangle." It just makes me smile. So let's just grab a block, and I'm just going to stamp this in black, but I'm going to switch to my Stays On. Because Stays On is definitely the blackest black. Yeah, so I used to have pro markers, and I'll tell you what I struggled with is that because of the way that you buy them, I used to find it difficult because you had to buy like a colour family or whatever. Whereas with the blends, you can buy a colour and get the light and the dark. Whereas with the Pro markers, I found, you know, you kind of had to buy quite a few different packs to get stuff that would actually blend with one another. Whereas with these ones, you don't have to think about it. You're not blending colours. You're just doing a light and a dark of the same colour. Okay, so just going to do the usual flag on the end. Trim this end. There we go. And now we have our elements. So let's just assemble. So then stick our paper to our white layer. So again, like I say, using a white layer, I think just helps, particularly if your DSP has white in it. It just helps to make it just pop against the background, which I think is really nice. Yes, and yet again, having the Stampin' Up colours as your blends really does help. So like that when you're colouring your images, it coordinates with everything else that you use. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I forgot my ribbon, but never mind, we can fix that. Yes, Stampin' Up does do colour coordination the best. That was one of the things that attracted me to it first, because when I first started card making, I really struggled with colour coordination, because I hated having, you know, different blues. So my inks will be a different colour to my paper, and that just really bothered me. So, right, so what I've done is I've just trimmed it, and then I'm going to pop this up. Yes, once you get into it, you know, it's the best way. Signing up is the best way to do it, because it's, you know, you can get everything at your 20% discount, which is, why wouldn't you? Okay, so let's pop that there. I'm going to put that at an angle, and I'm just going to glue it in the center there, like so. Is that straight? Yes, it is. And then I think we're going to take some of our holiday rhinestones, which are these ones, oh, my wonderful gems, and I'm just going to add a few. Just a couple, just to add a little bit of extra sparkle. So there we have it. So let me just, now this has created a big mess, because look, I've got all these blends. So I am not going to put them away now. I'm just going to move them off my desk. So here's Diane's card, and then there's my version. So thank you, Diane, for your inspiration. So you can see I've used my designer series paper as my background. I've taken the same layout, and instead of another strip of paper, because I forgot, I've just got a little bit of ribbon. So again, very, very easy to just pick the elements that you like and just switch them up. So that's card number 2. Thank you, Diane. So the next 2 cards are inspired by Susan's card, which is this one. Sue Bishop, what dies don't you have that you need? Is it these rectangles? Right, so Sue has used Pigment Sprinkles, and I haven't used these for a while because they are officially retired, so they're not in the catalogue. However, I noticed when I was in the online shop a little while ago that they are on the clearance rack, and they are reduced to something like, I think it's about half price or something. Not too late to ask for, yeah, Christmas is coming. Definitely time to get stuff on your list. Which reminds me, like I do every year, I do vouchers, so you can always get those from me. So, sprinkles. So I played with these earlier on this year, and I remember, Susan, I remember you enjoying them. So I was really pleased to see this. So I thought I'm going to use these, but again, I'm going to make some Christmas cards. So I'm going to use the In the Pines stamp set. I'm coordinating dies. Okay, now let me just bring in some scrap paper. So I'm going to use it is very arty, isn't it? Sue's done some great bit of masking here, a bit of zentangling here. It's just lots of gorgeous elements on it. And again, black, white with a pop of colour. Love it. Right, so I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green. And I've got a few scraps. So for those of you who haven't used Pigment Sprinkles before, they're a bit like Brush-Os. And we had Brush-Os a little while ago, but I didn't really like the colours. So then Stampin' Up! Brought out them in their own colours. So you've got Mango Melody, Daffodil Delight, Bermuda Bay, what's this one? Melon Mumbo, Granny Apple Green, and Gorgeous Grape. So I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green. Okay, so there's a couple of ways that you can use these sprinkles. Okay, so I'm just going to I've got two different scraps. So one way you can do it, okay, is first thing you're going to need is a spritzer. Yeah, these sprinkles are gorgeous, Sue, and like that. These will last you a long time unless you sprinkle everything. Right, so first thing you can do is to just sprinkle your sprinkles on here. Okay, now I'm going to do a mix of green and blue. Now use them relatively sparingly, okay? The colours are quite intense, so don't go mad. All right. Oh, and then top tip, put the right colour lid back on your sprinkles. So then you take your spritzer and then you just spritzer. Hold the spritzer. The further away you hold your spritzer, the more widespread your spritz will be in light, and then the closer in, the more direct it will be. Okay, so I'm going to start a little bit far away. Whoop. Make sure I spray it in the right direction. And you can see that as you spray, the colours break apart. Okay, and the more you spray, the more it breaks apart. Okay, so you can see that gives us a really lovely, intense colour. The other way that you can do it, so I'm just going to move that to one side. Okay, the other way that you can do it is you can wet your cardstock, your card first. So, first point, Diane, you just beat me to it. Absolutely, you have to use watercolour cardstock for this. If you do this on regular cardstock, it'll just be a mess, okay? Because you need to use quite a bit of water to make this stuff spread. So what I'm going to do here, you can see I've got a couple of granules of it on my cardstock already, so it's picked it up. So I'm just going to wet my card, and then I'm going to add my sprinkles. Okay, so you can see we get, and then they just spread. Okay, and of course you will get, look at that. So this is Bermuda Bay, so you get that kind of deep blue. Yeah, mixed media papers will work. So anything that can take a lot of water, because as you can see, we use a lot of water on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a few more colours onto here. And then again, each time you do this, it's going to be completely different. Okay, the more water you add, the more it will spread. Okay. So what I like to do with the sprinkles is I don't like to spread it too much because you lose that sort of the splitting of the colours and what have you. So what I've done in true Blue Peter fashion, because also the other thing I like to do is I like to leave them to dry, okay, rather than using my heat tool, is I've done some earlier, which I shall bring in, okay, but this is just to give you an idea of how to use them. And as you can see with Susan, she's done some great stuff here. And you can see the other thing you can do, just grab some tissue, is if you find the colour is a little bit too intense for you, okay, you can just use a piece of tissue or kitchen towel, and it will just lighten it up for you, so you get a much more subtle effect. And of course I get it all over me too, but that's part of the fun. There you can see that by dabbing it I just get a completely different effect. So as I say, these are, I think they're £8 or something in the clearance rack on the online shop, so definitely go have a look for them. If you're a demonstrator and you're placing an order, the thing to do is you can either search for it or you can just go to the online shop, find the number and then just type that into your order. So there we go. So then I just leave that to dry somewhere. Okay, so I'm just going to dab some of this off. Okay, so mucky fingers. That's why I left these cards till last. And then you can see as this one's drying off, look at that. That's really, really cool. Really intense colour. So, earlier I played just with the green, and this was what I did. So what I did was I let it dry, and then you can see here I've gone back in and I've just added some more sprinkles to it to get a slightly different effect. So this is just, okay. So I've got two different cards I'm going to do with this. So the first one is, I'm going to just bring this stuff in. So I'm sticking with my shaded spruce, okay. Now I've gotten some ink on there, so just hang on. It's wet wipe time again. Whoops. Okay, look, it gets everywhere. So yes, if you don't like getting messy, then sprinkles are not for you. The other thing to be careful of is, because the powder is quite fine, is that it does go everywhere. So do make sure to try and do it on a surface that you can just move around. Yes, that's exactly what you do, and you just cut yourself lots of different pieces of watercolour paper and just play and then see what comes out. Now see, look, I've done something funny to my card base. I'm just going to quickly cut another one. Just bear with me 1 second. So what I'm going to do is, in these dies, move that out of the way, there is this die, okay, and that cuts out an inlay. So I want to show you what I mean. So I'm just going to cut this from my piece of card here. Just 1 second, and then you'll see what I mean. So it doesn't cut out a piece, it just cuts this inlay. Now, that itself is lovely, but what we're going to do is I'm going to trim a piece of this and I'm going to put it behind my tree. So I get that lovely effect. So I'm just going to pick a corner or a bit. I think I like this bit here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim. Whoops. Oh, you'll be more than welcome, Sue. More than welcome. Right, can't wait to have you on the team either. And look, you know, celebration is a great time to join back up again because you get some extra special offers. So I'm just going to work out. I want a piece that's about 10 by, say, 8 centimeters. I want to make it plenty big enough so that I can move it around if necessary. Oh, it's frozen. Oh dear. Give it a second and see. Let me just check mine. See if it's working. All right, seems to be okay. Right, so I'm going to do 10. No, I'm going to do 8. Okay, and then I'm going to do 10 this way. Okay, and we are going to use these for the next card. Alrighty. So let's bring this back in. So now, did you see that? You've got all that lovely variegation on the back. Oh, you're back in. Excellent, Sue. Right, so then I'm going to take my stays on again and just do a simple black sentiment. I'm going to do the Season's Greetings, which we used last week. So it's still on a block because I haven't quite tidied up from last week. So I'm going to stamp this before I assemble the card so that my piece is nice and flat. Okay, so give it a good inking. All right, and then let's see if we can get this straight. There we go. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is pop some dimensionals. Around my tree. Okay, and then our usual ones in the corners. So this is just to hold this panel up. Okay, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some Wink of Stella over this background, just for a little bit of extra sparkle. Ooh, hearts. Glad you guys are enjoying this. Okay, so there we go. Look at that. Ooh, that's lovely just on its own, isn't it? Okay. And then always with your Ink of Stella, because you see here it's picked up that ink. So I'm just going to colour it off on a scrap piece of paper until the ink is gone. That means next time I go to use it, I'm not going to create myself a problem by having green already on my Wink of Stella. So let's take these off. Oop. Okay, and I'm just going to lay that down, and then I'm just going to hold this because I want an area, I want lots of different sort of variation and variegation here. There we go. Okay, there we have it, and then that's just going to go onto our shaded spruce. Now you can see I've got a little bit of schmutz, as they would say, on there. So let's grab my eraser and see if I can get rid of that. We might have to do something else. So let's just attach this to our card base. And then I think I'm just going to add some rhinestones, partially to cover that up, but partially because I think it'll look cool. So let's just put one there, and there. No. No, that is going to have to go there because I've left the glue behind, and taking it off will just create a problem. So let's do that. Okay, and then I have one here that I've already coloured before in green, so I'm just going to pop that on top, like so. And I think I'm going to have to spritz this with some Wink of Stella, so just grab my scrap paper again. No, that's not going to work, just 1 second. That has still wet with the pigment sprinkles, so I don't want to just ruin my card. Okay, and then let's just add. I must. There we go. Oh yes. There we are. So I don't know if you can see that. I am sorry, Anne. But in fairness, I think you can't go wrong with trees, and I think they would make some great male or nature themed cards. So I think anything with these sorts of trees on them will work for you all year round, not just for Christmas. So as you all know, I do try as best I can with stamp sets that are for Christmas to get stuff that I think I can use at other times as well. So that's card number 3. Now the final card, right, we've got same a white card base, a shaded spruce layer, and a white layer. And then what I've done is I've taken, in these dies, you've got these 2 snowbanks here. So I've taken this one and I've die cut it, and can you see I've just embossed it with my subtle embossing folder, just to create a little bit of texture there. Now, I have a dilemma on this one. I don't know yet whether I want to leave this background white, you'll see why in a minute, or whether I want to blend it in blue. So bear that one in mind whilst I do the next bit. So now what I've got, I'm going to bring back in this piece, and I'm just going to take these dies, and I am just going to, and then we've got a small one here as well. So I'm just going to do like I did before. I'm going to cut this one out. Yeah, and I'm just going to cut these out from here. So bear with me 1 second. So this is a great thing to do as well. When you create a messy background like this, or a messy piece, is to just die cut your pieces from it. Which gives you all of that lovely texture. I'm going to die cut a few, just so I've got plenty to play around with. Okay. Here we go. Hope Santa reads my list. Yeah, don't we all, so treat myself to an early Christmas present by doing the pre-order. So now can you see you've got these beautiful trees, absolutely gorgeous. Now if you wanted, I'm going to try something on one of these, you could take the stamp set. So we've got this, which has got the texture on it. And a bit of an experiment here, so let's see how it goes. I'm going to see if I can add, and in fact, I'm going to use the line image rather than the textured image. Okay, just to add a little bit more definition. So I'm inking this up in shaded spruce. I'm your own standard. That's the best way to be, Diane. That way, he always brings what you need. Okay. So there you can see I've stamped it on there, but I actually prefer it without the stamping on there. So that was just a little experiment there that I wasn't happy with, but that's what we do. We try them out. Okay. So let's bring back in our card. Whoops. So what we have here, you'll see where I'm going with this now, I hope, is that now we have our trees. And I'm just going to arrange them. I think I might just do 3. So the question is, do I blend the background here or not? What do you guys think? While I play around deciding where I'm going to put my trees. Of course you're saving, Anne. Especially if you're a demonstrator, it's 20% off. You're being it's a very sensible way to do it. What I tend to do is, and it's not always possible for everybody I know, but particularly when a new catalogue comes out, is I try and do a big order, because then what you do is you get your stamp and rewards, so you get your 10% or 12% or whatever it is on top of that, so you get even more for your money. And then obviously, you know, as a demonstrator, if you order, you also still get your stamp, so during celebration, you get your celebration benefits and all the rest of it, so it's always good. So that's right, we do. We deserve them. Absolutely, we deserve them after the year that this has been. And you know, when we make our cards and then we send them out to everybody, we make everybody else happy too. So that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so I'm just messing around with this, just trying to figure out where I want it. Leave it white. Yeah, I think so, Doreen. Do you know what I'm going to do though? Just because it needs a little bit of texture. First I'm going to stamp it. So I'm going to stamp Season's Greetings, but I'm going to stamp it in the green. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp that here. Yeah, and I was thinking that I don't have the Snow is Falling embossing folder, but what we can do is there is a snow or spots stamp in here. So what we can do is I'm going to heat emboss it in white and just create that little bit of texture. So yes, and if I did have the Snow is Falling embossing folder, that's exactly what I would have done. Okay, so let's just stamp this image. Okay, now I hope that works. So now let's take out and just look it in the light. Yeah, that should be fine. And then we just sprinkle our white embossing powder even, all over. Now what we end up with, don't know if you can see that, we've got some snowflakes now. I've got a few odd bits that I don't like, so I'm just going to I don't need to be too concerned about this because obviously it's white on white, so it's not going to be particularly obvious, but there we go. And I'm just going to heat emboss that. In fact, looking at that, that looks kind of nice too, doesn't it? Oh, I'm confused now. Ugh. This is what happens. Let me carry on with this one and we'll see how we go. So, what do you think? What do you think of the green background, ladies? Just doing my snowflakes here, or my snow. Yeah, see, this is what happens, is that you start out with an idea in mind and then something happens, you just happen to lay something down and you think, oh, that might work. Right. So now we have our snowflakes. So I think we're going to have to make 2 cards, ladies. Okay. There we go. And these trees need Wink of Stella. For sure. Okay. And then onto our white card base. So let's assemble. So I'm going to glue this down, but I am not going to put glue right along the top edge because I want to leave room to tuck my trees in. Yeah, I'm going to make a green one and a white one, ladies, and then you can decide. You know we love to have a choice. Okay, so pop that one there, and then I'm going to take these. So you can see I've just left a little gap there so I can just pop my trees underneath like so. Okay, and then we'll layer this up. That's exactly what I was thinking, Sue. So we'll finish this one and then we'll do the other one. I'll cut some pieces. Okay, and then I will there we go, so that's the white one. So now let me just cut some bits and we'll do the green one. Let's see, let's grab. If I've got any more shaded spruce, or do I need to open a new one? No, I've got one. Okay, so I think we need a white card base. Go, and then we'll do green layer. Like so, and then I'm going to cut my snowbank. Right, so let's do that quickly. there we have our snowbank, and I'm going to leave this blank because I'm going to stamp my greeting on here. So let's do that. So I'm not going to emboss this one because I'm going to stamp on it instead. Okay, so we'll just do our season's greetings here. Hope that's straight. Yep. Okay. And then I'm just going to give that snow stamp a good clean because it didn't stamp very well. So let's make sure. Okay, so let's bring back in our embossing. All right, so make sure I'm getting a good layer. There we go, and we've got our Versamark, and now it'll be a little bit easier now to actually see where I'm stamping. So you can see that what I'm doing is every time I stamp, I just move it around a little bit so it just keeps that kind of random look. Okay, I'm going down a little bit further than I probably need, just in case. Okay, all right, and then I'm trying to put my stays on here as my lid. Dear, oh dear. Right, so now a fresh pack of white embossing powder so that I've got enough to cover it. Okay. There we go, chuck it all on. Okay, so again I've got a few bits on here that I don't like, so I'm just going to get rid of them. This is just an old paintbrush that I've got, but it's quite a stiff one. So it helps to break all of this up. Okay, that should do the trick. Now let's get this all back in the tub. There we go. Alrighty. And now it's time to heat emboss. So bear with me 1 second. Wait for it to heat up. Cheerio, cats, good to have you. Nearly done now, once I finish this bonus card. There we go. Okay. Nearly there. I've never done a green sky background before. Let's see how it works. Okay, so I've just got myself a tissue and I'm just going to rub. So I rub away the extra embossing powder. So it's just something to be aware of when you heat emboss on dark cardstock and you put your embossing body down first. Sometimes it can leave a little residue, but once you've finished embossing, then it should be fine. You just rub it off with a tissue. So I've got some on the back here. Okay, so there we go. Don't know, ladies. What do you think? I think we might need a different colour. I have an idea. I don't like those. I want something a little bit more subtle. So I'm going to try something different. You guys let me know what you think. Sue loves it. Alright, so what I've got here is I've got my Whisper White ink pad. Okay, and I've got my refill for it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that in the lid, and I'm going to get my water and get my aqua painter. Not that one, I want my skinny one. This one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just mix this with a little bit of water. Yep, that's it, Sue. Splatters is exactly where I'm headed. I just think those, they're a bit messy. I'm not happy with them, and I think there's just a bit too much, to be honest. So I'm just going to really water this down. Okay. And then this is closer to the look that I want. Okay, and then I'm just going to clean that off. Okay, so while that's drying, oh, I thought for a second there I dropped a blob on there. Woo! Okay, so while that's drying, let me know what you think, okay? You need the splatters or the embossing. Now, the die cuts are here somewhere. Yes, that is better. And then I'm going to do some Wink of Stella as well. Keep picking up the wrong brush. There we go. And while that dries, I'm going to add some Wink of Stella to my trees. Okay, I think we're agreed on the splatters. I tend to agree with you ladies. We get there in the end. That's part of the fun, isn't it? Alright, so I'm just going to give this a quick blast with my heat tool so I don't smear it. That. You get the sparkle on there as well. I'm really pleased with that. Okay, so let's glue this down. Definitely a lot better than that. Okay, I'm going to pop this up. Could you imagine this on a piece of Night of Navy cardstock as a night sky background? Wouldn't it be stunning? Or could you imagine it on black? Ooh, black would be great. So, you know, what I'll have to do is make sure that when I finish here, I don't carry on. Sometimes what happens after I've been on with you guys is that inspiration strikes and I just keep going. Go. And I'm going to pop those up. You have me there, Anne. I'm right here. What would be really interesting is when you guys are creating, if you have a problem, I'm going to actually put them like this. If you are making a card and like that, you're not sure what to do, why don't you pop it into the IP group and we can all help each other out? Because, you know, you guys are awesome. Right, so I think we just need a little bit of something down here. And then I've got a red one here. So I think I am going to just do that just for a pop of red. And there we go. Every day. And I would love nothing better than to come and sit and craft with you all day. It would be so much fun. But like I say, you guys need to give yourselves credit where credit's due. Right, so I think that is us for this evening. So let's bring back our cards. Right. Oh, I've got embossing powder all over my surface. I'm going to have to clean that up. That's a great idea, Sue. Post what you're working on and we can all help out. Right, so we have our joy. We have our joy card, which was the first one. Open house, absolutely. The new place that we're going to, it's not quite as big as the first place we were going to buy, but I will have a dedicated craft room upstairs that will have plenty of room for everybody to come and craft. So I am looking forward, once the borders are open and people can travel, we are going to have a fantastic session. You guys are all going to come over here and we're just going to craft our hearts out. So there we go. So that's card number 1. Card number 2, so that's inspired by Sue Bishop. That one's inspired by Diane. And then these are inspired by Susan Freegrove and her Pigment Sprinkles. So there we go. Thank you all. It's been really, really fun. And thank you for your help with these two in terms of where we get to. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Make sure to share the video if you haven't done so already, and I will see you all again next week. But no doubt we'll chat in the group. Oh, and one final thing, remember, if you want to sign up for the December card swap, then make sure to leave your name in the pinned post, and I will make sure to add you. You have till Friday the 4th of December to do that. Lots of hearts. Thank you, everybody. It's been so much fun again. You are my weekly therapy. I so enjoy it, and I'll see you all again next week. Bye.